Hello everybody and welcome to this video. We're doing a bit of a different job today because we're waiting for parts for the 6LXB. So this is the injector pumps and cambox off of a 1942 Scammell Pioneer. The truck is not very far from us here and it's just finished being restored by its owner, but it's not quite running right. We went to have a look at it last week and it's knocking quite badly on cylinder 3. But it appears to be related to fuel injection equipment, not the engine itself. So we've got the pump and cam box here to have a look over and see what we can find that's wrong. So the first thing we're going to look at is the phasing of these pumps. Now the phasing is the angle between each element and when it injects. Now this being a 6-cylinder pump, that means 60 degrees between each time a pump comes to the point of injection. Now on a Gardner, the Gardner documentation will have you using one of these, which is a phasing disc. Now, these are then placed between the pump and the cam box to ensure that the spill point line, which is in each of these windows, is correctly lined up and therefore should be at spill point. However, over the years, these pumps get new elements put in them, they get worked on, repaired, and that means that these lines more than likely don't line up properly at the correct point. Now, on some pumps, you'll see them marked here with the amount of variation the last time it was worked on. So, for example, this is an 150 thousandths shim, and you might see one of these saying -2, for example. So that would mean that it should be 148 thousandths that you need to get that set correctly. But because we have the test bench, that is not how we're going to do it here. Because you're aiming for this to be as accurate as possible, what we will do is set the first cylinder with the phasing disc to know that that is in the correct position for what Gardner intended for the engine. But then we will check all of the others by pressure phasing, which you can do with this machine, to make sure that the spill cutoff points are exactly as they should be across the other 5 cylinders. So with the pump tops removed, we will now install the phasing disc onto the top of number 1 here. You need to make sure that this tappet is fully down, so therefore that the cam is on the back of the base of the cam, not onto the where it lifts. So we'll just take the spring off and fit the phasing disc, and then we'll put the pump tops back on and see how that lines up on the window. So we now have the phasing disc in on cylinder 1, and I think if I can just about get it lit up enough, be able to see that the line on the element plunger, so the bit that moves, is actually high in comparison to the line on the body. So we'll adjust that and then get on with pressure phasing the pumps to see how bad the rest of them are. So we've now adjusted the number 1 tappet. As you can see, the lines are now lined up between the body and the element plunger. So from now we can get the test bench fired up and pressure phase check the rest of the elements. So we're now ready to carry out the pressure phasing. This is cylinder 1. And you can see we've got the pump in the position where the scribe line on the tappet and the scribe line on the body match. So we'll now zero the degree wheel on the machine as well. And what we'll do is we'll see whether that is correct spill point for cylinder 1. Now, by the Gardner method, that should be the correct spill point, but we'll see. So with everything lined up where the phasing disc says is the point of spill, you will now see that there's still fuel flowing from this port here. So what we'll do is we'll continue to move it and see where the actual spill point is and how far that is out. So on this pump on cylinder 1, the difference between where the phasing disc places your spill point, and the actual spill point is 2 degrees. So what we'll do now is re-zero the pump here for cylinder 1 and then check the rest of them in relation. So we finished checking the phasing on all of the other elements. Because we reset cylinder 1 to line up the lines on the phasing disc, it's obviously altered the phasing slightly on the rest of them. So in relation to cylinder 1, which was set with the phasing disc, we have 1.5 degrees too far advanced for 2 through to 4, and then we have 2.5 degrees too far advanced for 5 and 6. So we'll get the pump tops back off and make an initial adjustment to all of these, and then we'll redo the pressure phasing. So we now have the phasing all correct. So the next job is to change over to check the calibration on the pump tops. So we're now all set up for checking the pump top calibration. Before we carry out the calibration to the data table for these, we're just going to do a quick idle and full power check just to see how far out they are. So as you can see, the calibration on these pump tops is quite a long way out. You should be down around about 0.5 of a cc across all 6 cylinders. And on here at the moment, from lowest to highest, we have 9.5 cc of error. So definitely some work to do on number 3 and to balance it out. So that's us all finished with this pump, so now it's off back to the truck to refit it. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.